Is your job at risk? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at this Yahoo Finance article discussing or revealing the most at-risk jobs for the 2020 recession. Now, I thought this could be quite interesting. In my own profession as an architect, we're often the canary in the coal mines. We can often feel the hit before other people in the construction game. A few years ago, when we were just starting our business, we were doing quite well. We were flat out. We'd happened to get into the mining sector. We weren't doing any of the multi-res, and we weren't really chasing the housing, but we managed to get into this sector, and it just went off. It just went off. I was covering all my expenses at the time when I had 4 people working for us inside a little share house with 3 people living there. That's the way you do it. And we were just putting out tender submission after tender submission to try and win big mining contracts. We won 2 of them, 2 big ones. And, we fully documented, all the mine industry areas for about a, $18 to $20 million project there. Little donkey Queenslander. So I can't complain. But at the time that was happening, was I was flat out and busy and just growing the business. It was all exciting. Other firms were cutting people left, right, and center. There's one, Mervac, just got rid of their entire architectural division. Some of the biggest ones in the city just fired their, 50 people were gone on one day from some firms. So it was tough times. So with that example in mind, we need to, realize that some industries could be listed as, in trouble or doing really bad here, and maybe you might be in them, but it's still your sector or your subsector of that industry may be doing quite well. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. So this is more, let's just say, a starting point for us to have a discussion about some of these predictions. And let me know if you're in these industries and if you're noticing a quiet down. I know for us, work's starting to get a bit quiet. We had another project that was meant to have kicked off that got delayed. So we'll have to see. We had one big job that's just about finished. There was meant to be a second stage of it. And, well, that's shifted on. It's how these things happen sometimes. One of the advantages, actually, of scaling back my business. A lot less stressful. That was probably one of the most stressful things, was just I had to keep the work coming in just to keep the guys busy, let alone to make a profit from it. It's the way business is. It can be a challenge. So let's have a look at this. The most at-risk jobs revealed. Nearly all industries and workers feel the pinch in times of recession, but some jobs are far more vulnerable than others during a time of crisis. The 2020 recession is even more unique in that it coincides with mass global economic devastation, which comes as a result of the pandemic. Well, no, it comes as a result of the lockdowns that are being implemented in an attempt to address this. And we need to remember that. We need to keep that in mind. Okay? We need to keep that in mind. Generally, in times of recession, Aussies limit spending and businesses tighten their purse strings, which unsurprisingly affects jobs in many non-essential industries. But what is unique about the current pandemic recession is that we're also seeing an accelerated loss of employment in industries with workers in routine, manual jobs and sectors which struggle to operate with new social distancing measures. Here, Yahoo Finance has compiled a list of 8 of the most at-risk jobs during the 2020 recession. So number 1, anything that can be automated. Now, I did a video, and I'm just going to jump over here. So on my US channel, you can see here, Caterpillar Autonomous Mining. I did a video about Caterpillar where they were looking at updating their mining equipment, providing new machines which are self-driving or self-operating, because that can have efficiencies. And one of them they claim, aside from all the reduced staff, is they're pandemic proof. They're pandemic proof. And their share price is almost at an all-time high at the moment. So routine manual jobs such as factory workers, retail workers, and even drivers are especially at risk during the current recession. Many businesses, especially those which were already looking into artificial intelligence, are ramping up automation in response to new social distancing measures, reduced spending, and or higher volume. If a robot can do the job quicker, cheaper, and more accurately, then it's a risk. Travel and tourism jobs, are they all ranked at 1? During a usual recession, people tend to travel on a tighter budget or postpone travel plans altogether. Take that one step further into the pandemic, and due to heavy travel restrictions, both interstate and overseas, we could see costly travel agents and even tourism-related businesses become a thing of the past. Entertainment workers. Similarly to the travel and tourism industry, the entertainment industry has been ravaged by the pandemic. Safety measures such as social distancing, enhanced cleaning, and restrictions on movement and group gatherings has put a halt to nearly all entertainment-related businesses, and with it the jobs. Maybe people are realizing how much money they're burning away on these things. Restaurants and hospitality workers. Sadly, another industry where mass workers have lost their jobs, and the pandemic continues to hit workers hard. Many restaurants. Well, see, it's not the pandemic, it is the lockdowns that the governments are putting in place. That's what's causing it, everyone. That's what's having this significant economic impact. The WHO is against lockdowns because it makes the workers, the poor, suffer the most. It's just going to exacerbate all of these issues that we're having around the world. Many restaurants have had to close their doors, several unable to recover from the financial loss. Even those that do, thanks to restricted numbers and social distancing, are struggling to cover costs and stay afloat. And what happens if you open your restaurant and then all of a sudden, boom, Dan Andrews wakes up and wants to be a bit more authoritarian and just puts another lockdown in place? Exploration and mining jobs. In June, IBIS World released a new report which stated that the pandemic recession will have a very high impact on Australia's exploration and mining. The research firm cites supply disruptions and lower demand as key influences, with operators and Australian firms likely to significantly reduce capital expenditure and delay investment in new projects, also presenting a major threat to workers. And this is when I was saying how we were doing so well. This is because iron ore prices and coal prices were really high back then. There was a boom. There was a lot of capex. There was a lot of investment. That's why. Transportation and warehousing jobs. Also on IBIS World's list of industries which are suffering a very high impact from the recession is transportation and warehousing. With global trade expected to contract, Australia's domestic freight task and freight operators will have a steep downturn in demand, with many facing job losses. Construction workers. Supply chain issues, tight budgets, and social distancing measures will put a stop to many construction projects. While government stimulus is expected to keep the construction industry going for the near future, as generous government stimulus policies are relaxed and the reality of a prolonged recovery sets in, construction is expected to weather a heavy business cycle shock, a recent McKinsey report explains. The pandemic comes at a challenging time for the sector, which was already forecast to suffer a decline during 2020, thanks to households becoming more reluctant to spend on construction. Although we have seen a recent uptick in building approvals. You can see at the top, that's private sector houses, and that's home builder right there having an impact. Even though they haven't paid out the money, it is having an impact on building approvals. Because what these politicians don't seem to understand, or what they pretend to not understand, is that it takes time before people will receive their payments. And real estate jobs. Unsurprisingly, the real estate workers make the list of at-risk jobs, given the industry is expected to suffer a near-term decline in both its commercial and residential areas due to widespread job losses and reduced cash flow, making many real estate jobs redundant in the process. So here we have it, guys, the industries that are at risk. Real estate, I can't say we're surprised. Construction, they're doing everything they can to prop it up. You've got all the government schemes, incentives, support mechanisms. You've got state spending, but it's going to take a hit. Transport and warehousing jobs. Now that one surprised me, because I thought warehousing and logistics would do quite well with more and more people, working from home and mailing things in. But I guess on the scale of international trade, will take a hit. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see, because shipping, if we look at our shipping, hang on, I will bring up this live shipping data here. Just bear with me for one moment. We can see that shipping is doing still pretty good right now, at least the number of ships that's coming out of Australia. I mean, yeah, doesn't look like world trade has stopped at all. Exploration and mining jobs. Well, that's dependent on the value of commodities. And if we go over to trading economics, we'll jump here to commodities and let's just have a look. I mean, you can see crude is at $40, Brent is at 42, natural gas is at 2.7. And then, you know, heating oil, gold is, oh boy, below 1900 again, 1892. Silver is at 24. Copper, you know, 3. And then lithium. For Australia, most important is our coal and iron ore. We scroll down here, we'll see, come on, iron ore is at $124 an ounce. Where's coal? Where's coal? Should be at the top, shouldn't it? There it is. It's at $54 an ounce. And this is, like I was saying, back when we were doing a lot of work in the sector, it was around here. Okay, so you can see that price change. See that price change, guys, from when we were there. Restaurants and hospitality workers. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. They need to remove the fringe benefit tax to the long lunches. They need to bring those back. That would be one way to support it. And sure, you know, it's taxes. Other people are subsidizing the restaurant industry, but it's kind of screwed, guys. And entertainment and travel. Well, I can't say I'm too surprised. I think there's a lot of crossover there too. International tourism is in trouble. Entertainment industry, that ties into a lot in tourism and to the restaurants. There's going to be a lot of crossover there. And then anything that can be automated. And that will lead to more and more calls for UBI, more and more calls for handouts. But is that going to be a very fulfilling life if people don't have work? I mean, if you're in a job that's at risk of automation, what are your plans? Yeah. Is it the old learn to code? But can everyone be able to do that? What other jobs or prospects are going to be created out of this? They're always concerns whenever there's an industrial revolution or a change that there'll be people left behind and they'll be, you know, destitute and unemployed. But it never happens. There's always new ways, always new jobs, always new things that are created. Sure, a whole lot of them may be bullshit jobs, but we'll have to see. As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Are you in one of these industries? Are you worried? What are you doing to plan? As always, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy merch from HeiseSays or Teespring, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you next time.